Hi there. So last week some of you suggested I include some coins that I don't usually cover. So that's why today we're going to go through CKB, Casper, Jasmine, and also one more Chronos. So let's dive into CKB first. As usual, we're looking at the weekly chart to start off the session, and for CKB, from what I observe, it's basically post-automatic rally phase that we're at, similar to a lot of other altcoins. And then also here you can see it's reaching to a point basically similar to what happened in 2022-23. So some other tests is going on to test how much supply is still available in the market before the big players set for another boost and other distribution cycle. That means from February last year, the price surged all the way to March, where the blind climax was, and then there was an upthrust, and eventually the price came down to where we are now. Basically, that's the big picture. So if my observation is correct, then this accumulation cycle we would see some more tests, and obviously we have to wait for the sign of strength so that we know probably the accumulation cycle is near its end. However, as of this moment, we're still early. So let's look at the daily chart and see what other trends we have. So if you have been following my sessions, basically the key support levels and the resistance levels for CKB's case, this white line at the bottom, basically the bottom of the long-term playground zone at around 0.0025 roughly, 2425 at that range. It's basically almost the bottom, absolute bottom, I would say, if we take the 2002-2003 accumulation cycle as the reference point. However, it doesn't mean it can't go lower than that, depending on like how many people are going to sell whatever they have on hand. If there's really well, in simple terms, like a crash going on. So basically somebody try to push the price downwards to test whether there are remaining people willing to give out their CKB in hand. So back to the resistance then, if that's the ultimate support at around 0.0024 roughly. Resistance, you can see a lot of these peaks. So I'll draw a resistance line over here, and let's make it yellow. Not this T, this line, yellow. So the resistance right now is at around 0.005, 0.006, roughly that range. So let me enlarge it so it would be easier to look at what trend is hiding. So we have seen the upward, that was like the blue box crosses the yellow line earlier on. So you have seen a lot of these I explained in other altcoin sessions as well. So usually when there is a crossover between a key level and a trending flag or box or a zone, depending on which one you like, I would like to use playground zone, then we would expect certain breakout happen. So in this case, it's a very quick force breakout, probably trying to trap some people. And then now we are having this downward playground zone. So you see all the peaks, right? So these two set the boundary, and then, well, you can say 3 points to set the boundary, and then it came down to test it, bounce back up, same day, and then got close to the top edge, down here again, and somewhere at midpoint it stopped, and then this one absolutely tested the upper boundary again, and currently the price is hovering along the center line. So by center line I mean it doesn't have to cut the box in half, it's somewhere in the middle of the box, but not necessarily cutting it 50-50. It might be too bright, it should be this blue. Yep. So you see, if I change it to a line chart, it's clearer. Yeah, so you see the bounce doesn't only happen at the two edges. So let me remove the earlier one. We don't need it anymore. Here, so yeah, obviously the first 3 points that set up the box, and then here you see from this top edge down to the center line, it didn't go through, and then it bounced up a little before it comes down again, and then when this hits or get close to the bottom, it comes to the middle and then came down again. So it happens. So to explain this, what would happen is if certain traders make use of this playground zone theory, what they normally would encounter is when they keep pushing their stop loss out. Obviously, like it's both ways, right? So if the price is dropping, if they keep pushing their stop loss for their put orders or whatever they use, then at a certain point here, when the price, well, this one is better because it goes sideways, but then when it comes down, if they set the stop loss somewhere around here, when it pops back up, then obviously the stop loss will hit, and then that's where they will take their profit. Likewise, if they got in when this bounced from the lower edge of the box, when it got close to the center line and then came down, if they have set their stop loss somewhere around here, obviously they are forced to take their profit however low the percentage is. It would happen that way, but that's how trading is like. So back to this chart. This is the current downward playground zone, or bullish flag, whatever you name it. The key thing is, if there's no particular event or news that drive or change the direction, we would expect it come down to test the white support line. So remember this long-term playground zone bottom, right? So at roughly 0.0024 basically. So that's the big picture, the key resistance and support level, and also the price trend or the price action trend. So that's all for CKB. See you at Casper.